Welcome to Premium MMA. My name is Hydro, aka Big Splash, and I'm here to give you my picks, prediction, and bets for UFC Fight Night Marlon Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. This one's going to be a real good one. Let's get right into it. First matchup, we got hailey Cowan versus tamires vidal. hailey Cowan is 7-2, Vidal is 7-1. They got similar records, but to be honest with you, with Vidal's footage, she fought a high skilled leveled fighter. Like she did fight Aline Perez, and in that fight she got dominated bad. Aline was all over her. Vidal didn't want nothing to do. She wanted to quit almost. She was trying to say she was getting hit in the groin, eye pokes here and there when there wasn't, and I mean Vidal did have that flying knee in her UFC debut, which was very impressive. I like that. Um, but it's tricky with these female fights. hailey Cowan's she is a great all around fighter. She knows how to fight in the clinch. She's good on the feet, and she also knows how to win scrambles. She knows how to scramble. So my pick here is hailey Cowan. I think she will be the better fighter in this matchup. Striker, clincher, grappler, just everything. Vidal, she didn't show me any. She didn't impress me in her footage. So hailey Cowan's in her Dana White Contender Series, she did go against a pretty good opponent, and I think and she looked good in that matchup. So the pick here is hailey. Next up, we got Victor Altamirano, 11-2, versus Vinicius Salvador, 14-4. I got Victor in this matchup just because I think he is the better striker. Salvador, he's unpredictable. He'll do this, you'll think he's going to do that, but then he'll do that. You think he's going to do that, but he does that. It's like he doesn't even listen to his coach neither. He just does his thing and just flows out there, you know? And he is a fun fighter to watch. This is going to be a fun matchup because Victor, he will stand there and strike with you, and he is really accurate with his strikes. And he is a good fighter. He does get hit though, but he has a chin. And he's able to work in the clinch and get takedowns if he wants to. And I think he can get the takedowns on Salvador if he wants to. But I think this is going to be a mostly striking matchup. I think Victor, the only way is going to go to the ground, and Victor knocks this dude to the ground because Salvador does get clipped. He does get clipped in his Dana White Contender Series. He was standing up still, but he was getting hit a lot. I mean, a lot. Because look at his output. He puts almost out 9 shots, but gets hit almost 8. You know, so I don't know. He's a fun fighter. He's good. I think he relies on his chin a little bit too much because there's people in this flyweight division that have knockout power, and Victor will be able to put this dude down, I think, and then be able to ground and pound because Victor, once he's on top of you, he's relentless. So the pick here is Victor Altamirano, and yeah, on to the next one. Next up, we got Manuel Torres, 13-2, versus Trey Ogden, 16-5. This is a good matchup for Manuel Torres to show what he really has. I think he's going to dominate in this fight. Trey Ogden, his stand-up is not impressive. He just has... He throws the jab sometimes, but all he has is that overhand right, and he'll just keep throwing that. Just throw it. But when it does go to the ground, he does have pretty good jiu-jitsu. It's pretty slick. But Manuel Torres, I think he'll be able to keep it on the feet here and do whatever he wants to Trey, especially on the feet. I think Manuel Torres can get the finish, the TKO against Trey Ogden in this matchup. Trey Ogden he's a good fighter, but he still has work to do on the stand-up. I think he just relies on his grounding game. So I think he's going to go for the takedowns, but Manuel Torres is going to defend those takedowns and beat him up in the striking. Be able to get the finish as well. So my pick here is Manuel Torres. Next up, we got CJ Vergara, 10-4, versus Daniel Da Silva, 11-4. This is a pretty good matchup for Daniel Da Silva. I think this is a good matchup for him to come back to actually show people what he could do in the UFC because, yeah, he does miss weight. He does get knocked out in fights. He does rely on his ground game a little bit too much. But his striking is actually decent. If he actually would just keep the fight on the ground and just keep striking, I think he could get the job done and take it to decision. Maybe use his jiu-jitsu only when he's on the top, or only when he's on top, you know? I think CJ Vergara is an all-around good fighter. I think he will be able to strike with Daniel Da Silva. I think it's going to be pretty even in the striking. even on the ground game, because CJ Vergara is not all that. He's not a hype fighter or nothing like that. He's not good. He's not like magnificent in the striking or magnificent in the wrestling department. He's decent in both of those. He's a decent fighter. So that's why I think this is a good matchup for Daniel Da Silva to come back and show what he has. But to be honest with you, I think CJ Vergara is gonna take this fight because I don't know, you just can't trust Daniel Da Silva. He misses weight a lot, and he just makes a lot of just stupid mistakes in the octagon. So I got CJ Vergara here to win this fight, but I wouldn't bet on this fight. Daniel Da Silva is actually a good fighter. He just needs to make better decisions. So the pick here is CJ Vergara, and on to the next one. Next up, we got Trevin Giles, 15-4, versus Preston Parsons, 10-3. This is going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be a busy fight. Even me studying this fight, it was hard to choose. But I have Trevin Giles in this matchup. It's a pick'ems. It's like an even. And I have Trevin Giles actually as my underdog. He's not really an underdog. He's a slight favorite by like a -120. But still, I count that as even. So I'm going to say underdog. Because I have an underdog of the week. And I have a 3-leg parlay that I bet every week or whenever UFC is going down. So Trevin Giles is my underdog of the week, and I do think he will be able to get this done. I think he will be able to beat Preston with the stand-up in the boxing and kickboxing. I think he will be able to defend Preston's takedowns and get the win. Just outstrike him, outpoint him, maybe get the finish by TKO. Because Preston Parsons, I don't think he's as tough as people think he is. His ground game is slick. He does have a good jiu-jitsu ground game. But that's only if he does get Trevin Giles down. He might be able to get a takedown in one of the rounds. But other than that, I think Trevin Giles here, especially in the early rounds, he's not getting Preston's not getting a takedown on him. He's gonna stay strictly on the feet, and Trevin Giles is gonna outbox him. So the pick here is Trevin Giles. On to the next one. Next up, we got Steven Peterson, 19-10, versus Lucas Alexander, 7-3. Now, this is a good matchup because both these fighters are not good. And I'm being dead serious. If you look at these guys' footage, their stand-up is not good. It's decent. It's not even decent. It's all right. Lucas' stand-up, all right. He's not busy. He's not active. Lucas Alexander gets pressed, and he lost by a standing rear naked choke, like in the first round, I believe. And Steven Peterson, on the other hand, his record is 19-10. He does look like a 19-10 fighter. His stand up is he's not defensive with the stand up. He keeps his chin in the air. He's not that accurate with his shots. He throws more. He tries to get more significant strikes in, haymakers and stuff, instead of just pointing and actually taking time to pick out his shots. His takedown accuracy isn't good. His level changing is very predictable, and he can get taken down to the ground. But I got Steven Peterson in this fight just over experience, because Lucas Alexander has not showed me enough for me to choose him in any UFC fight. So Steven Peterson is the pick here, and this one is a tricky one. I would not bet on it. So yeah, on to the next one. Next up, we got Daniel Pineda, 27-14, versus Tucker Lutz, 12-2. This is a tricky matchup. Daniel Pineda, he is 37. He is getting up there, but he's still a good fighter. He's really tough. His stand-up is all right. His accuracy is there, but his defense is not. He does get hit a lot, and that's where Tucker will win in this fight. He will win in the stand-up, and I believe even in the scrambles on the ground, he will be able to reverse positions on Daniel Pineda if Daniel ends up getting takedowns on him, which I doubt. Daniel Pineda will get the takedowns on Tucker Lutz. Tucker Lutz's takedown defense is nice. Is pretty good. He doesn't get taken down a lot, but he does get takedowns a lot. So I think he will be able to get takedowns on Pineda whenever he wants and just end up grounding and pounding him. Because honestly, both these fighters are similar fighters. If they could get the takedown on you, they'll just stay on top of you. They don't even look for submissions. They'll just stay on top of you, grind you out, and ground and pound. But so the pick here is Tucker Lutz. He's the younger fighter. I think he's the better striker on the feet, and that's why I'm choosing him. He's just a better striker, and I think even with the grappling, I think they're pretty even. But I think Tucker Lutz could get it done with the with the ground and pound, maybe a few takedowns. Even if he goes to the decision, he'll win by more significant strikes. So yeah, the pick here is Tucker Lutz. Next up, we got Alex Perez, 24-7 versus Manel Kape, 18-6. This is a really good matchup for Manel Kape because Alex Perez is a really good striker. He's good on the ground as well, but he hasn't been looking too good in his last couple fights in the UFC. And Manel Kape has been looking phenomenal in his last few fights in the UFC. He's a really good striker. He's a really good technical striker. He'll pick out his shots, especially his significant strikes. He don't just throw wild shots just to throw them. He just will point you out until he sets up that one good shot and just boom. And he has power. He is able to lay you out. He is good on the ground. He has good scrambling skills. He will win in scrambles and be able to get back to his feet. He does look submissions once he is off his back. So he's just a good all around active fighter. He stays active. So that's why my pick here is Manel Kape. I think he does have what it takes to get it done here in this matchup against Alex Perez. So the pick here is Manel Kape. And yeah, on to the next one. Next up, we got Chidi Njokuani, 22-8 versus Albert Duraev, 15-4. This is a good middleweight matchup, and again, this is another. My pick here is Chidi. I'm going with Chidi all the way. Chidi is a very skillful fighter, especially on the feet. He is so accurate with his striking. I think he'll be able to put it on Albert, and Albert's going to look for those takedowns, but Chidi is going to defend most of those takedowns. A lot of the takedowns that Albert is going to throw his way, might defend all of them and just keep it on the feet. Maybe knock out Albert. Because Albert in all fights start on the feet, and Chidi is really good. He's good at scrambling, and he always just finds a way to get back to his feet. So the pick here is Chidi. I think honestly, Chidi, this is a good fight for Chidi, and Albert is a good fighter, but I think Chidi could do whatever he wants, especially on the feet. He could do whatever he wants to Albert, especially on the feet. Just boom, boom, boom. And then that's when Albert's going to throw those very predictable shots at the legs. And, Chidi's not going to have that. He's going to stuff those, defend those, and get off of them. And boom. And win this fight. Stand up. Get the TKO. So, yeah, the pick here is Chidi. Next up, we got Andrea Lee, 13-6 versus Maycee Barber, 11-2. Man, these girl fights, you just never know with them. This is a really close matchup because Maycee Barber here, she's not that good in the stand-up. She's not. I think Andrea Lee is way better than her in the stand-up. I think Andrea Lee puts out more volume in the stand-up, and when it's in the clinch, she's able to just throw them elbows in the clinch. She throws a bunch of knees in the clinch. She's very active in the clinch. I think she's like a Muay Thai kickboxer. And because she doesn't really go to the ground. When she does go to the ground, that's when she does get stuck. That's what I don't like. But I think Maycee here, only thing Maycee Barber can do to Andrea Lee is just pin her up to the cage and just hold her there. That's it. Unless, Andrea gets those underhooks and just reverses them and gets her off of them and it stays on the feet. If it stays on the feet, Andrea Lee is winning this match. Maycee Barber, on the other hand, if she's able to get those takedowns, she will win this matchup. But for me, Andrea Lee is the pick here. I think she does have the skills to defend her takedowns and win in the stand-up. So the pick here is Andrea Lee. On to the next one. Austin Lingo is stepping up short notice to fight Nate Landwehr because Alex Acesaros, how you say his last name, I don't know what happened to him, but the fight got canceled with them. But Nate Landwehr, he has the fighting camp behind him. So I think he does have this in the bag. I think Austin Lingo is a dog. He doesn't quit. He will pressure you and just keep moving forward on you. But Nate Landwehr is too skillful to have Austin Lingo do that to him. I think Nate Landwehr is going to pick out his shots, especially if significant shots, especially if Austin Lingo is pressuring going forward on Nate. Nate is just going to move backwards and just boom, move backwards, boom. Just boom, just move backwards and just hit him with just outpoint him. And even on the ground, I think Nate Landwehr has better ground game than Austin Lingo. but I don't think this is gonna end up on the ground. I think only time it does, and I think Austin Lingo will shoot for Nate's legs just because Nate is piecing him up on the feet. So I got Nate Landwehr in this, and he's gonna win this 100%. So the pick here is Nate Landwehr. Next up, we got Holly Holmes 14-6 versus Yana Santos 14-6 as well. They both got same records. Only difference between them really is Holly Holmes is 41 years old. She is getting up there. Her striking is slowing down, but her ground game isn't. She still has a jiu-jitsu ground game, honestly. And it doesn't look too bad. And she's able to scramble. She's able to get back up. She's able to work in the clinch, though. That's the only thing I could say. Her clinch game is still good in the stand-up. But other than that, just her striking and kickboxing, it's slowing down. I see it, Holly. It's slowing down. So I think Yana Santos does have what it takes, especially in the stand-up. And I think this is going to be a most striking matchup. So I think Yana Santos got this in the bag. She's younger. I think she is going against Holly. She knows who she's going against, so she did take her training seriously. And I think we're going to see a better and updated Yana Santos. And I think she does have what it takes to beat Holly Holmes here in this matchup. So the pick here is Yana Santos. Next up, we got Marlon Chito Vera, 20-7 versus Corey Sandhagen, 15-4. I love this matchup. This is a crazy matchup. Actually, I don't like this matchup because I love these fighters so much. These are two really exciting fighters. They're able to get it done. They could finish you. Corey Sandhagen could finish you on the ground like nothing. Marlon Chito Vera, he can knock you out. But to be honest here, Corey Sandhagen is the better all-around fighter. Corey's boxing is underrated. He does have slick boxing. He's able to slip punches and just counter a lot of punches. Chito, on the other hand, he is a bit slower. He's not as fast as Corey on the striking, but Chito is able to set up his strikes and land them very accurately and knock you out. He does have power. These bantamweights got to watch out for Chito's powers. They got to watch out for his power because he will knock you out if he sets up his shots right and if you let him set up his shot right. If you saw what he did to Dominic Cruz, he set that up so good. That was the same exact kick that Leon Edwards did to Kamaru Usman in Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 2. That was the same exact kick. He threw the 1-2. He feinted the 1-2 and came up with that kick that broke Dominic Cruz's nose and that just put his lights out. And that's what Chito Vera is good at, just setting up his shots and knocking your ass out. But Corey Sandhagen, on the other hand, I think Corey Sandhagen takes his training so seriously, and he just does tape research on his opponents, and I think he will, just be able to just go in and out on Chito Vera and get the takedowns and just play jiu-jitsu with Chito. Because we haven't really seen Chito Vera's jiu-jitsu game, really, his ground game. Only ground game we ever see is him getting ground and pounded on or him ground and pounding someone else. But Corey Sandhagen, on the other hand, has really good slick jiu-jitsu, even off his back. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. And Corey Sandhagen is the pick here. But I love both these guys. Whoever wins in this fight, I am so happy for. But Corey Sandhagen should win this fight. So the pick is Corey Sandhagen. Well, that is it for my prediction, picks, and bets for UFC Fight Night Marlon Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. My name is Hydro, aka Big Splash. And if y'all enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.